Hi guys, welcome to BritAsia podcast. I'm Raj, and today we have a lawyer talking to us about the circumstances that we are facing with COVID-19. She's going to give us a bit more information on what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Hi Rita, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on today.
Thank you so much for taking some time out because I know you're super busy. First of all, just give us a little quick introduction on what you do and who you are.
Okay, lovely. So my name is Rita Kotecha. I'm an immigration lawyer at Cartwright King Solicitors. And as you clearly stated, that I'm here to talk about COVID-19 and the current immigration rules and the position and the Home Office guidance. It's very uncertain at the moment, but we're doing our best to keep up to date with everything. And hopefully we'll be able to give everybody a little bit more insight and advice and assistance in the circumstances.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously there are quite a lot of questions. People are very uncertain. So let me just jump in straight to the first question. So is it possible to actually apply for a UK visa at the moment?
So yes, individuals who are abroad are able to apply for a visa online. So they will go through the normal process. They will have to apply on the online system. The difficulties that they will face is, although the Home Office will be happy to take the fees, they won't then be able to attend the visa application centres. Now, in certain countries, we have centres whereby they'll go and drop their documents, their passports, etc. They're known as the VFS Global for many countries, and then in Europe, Africa, and parts of the Middle East, it's at CLS. So the problems that individuals abroad are going to face is, although we can submit the applications, when we actually go to lodge the documents, there's going to be a significant delay because these centres are now closed. And subsequently, the final process can't be dealt with accordingly. I do also just wish to add at this point is that just because the centres are closed, it doesn't necessarily mean that we should stop submitting the applications. I've advised clients that we should try to keep on top of the Home Office guidance and try to collate as much information together, because what will happen, and we're all unsure about this, but when the centres do open again, there will be an influx and a surge of applications.
Yep.
So in order to ensure that we're sort of in line with the application process, it's best to try to get up to date and get applications at least started at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, like with the whole, if somebody's already applied for a UK visa and they are trying to get their documents, so what do they need to do?
So if they've paid for the courier return, their passports, etc., should be returned back through the normal route, and they would normally just be sent back. However, if the passport is currently held at the visa application centre and it's not being returned, what they should do is they should try to make contact with the centres. Now, as I clearly stated, many of the centres are closed. So if they can't contact the centre or they're having difficulty, they can contact the Coronavirus Immigration Helpline. And there's an email address as well that they could use to contact. And the Home Office have said that they will prioritise the return of all documents once the visa application centres are open. But from experience, there's delays, etc., and we can't guarantee that's going to happen immediately.
Right. Mm-hmm. And of course, like the British nationals that are actually abroad right now and need to apply for a passport, what is the best option for them right now?
So if the country's visa application centre is closed and they won't be able to apply for a British passport, in the case of an emergency that they need to travel to the UK, they can apply for an emergency travel document. So they'll need to go through the right protocols, etc., the right application process in order to apply for that.
Right.
But it's important that they keep an eye on the centres themselves within the countries that they're actually facing.
And of course, so applying to the Home Office in the UK, now this is based on like obviously people in the UK. So if anybody's actually in the UK already and their visa's about to expire and they want to actually leave the UK but they can't, so what is the best option for them right now?
So applicants who are currently in the United Kingdom and their visas are to expire between the 24th of Jan and the 31st of May 2020, the Home Office have put guidance out to say that those visas will be extended until the 31st of May 2020.
Yes.
But there are certain circumstances, and they need to establish that they cannot leave the UK due to travel restrictions, firstly, or self-isolation relating to coronavirus. Now, the important part here is, even though there is this belief that all visas will be automatically extended, all the applicants should actually contact the coronavirus immigration team. Like I said, there's a website and a web address to contact them on, and update their records if their visa is expiring. Mm-hmm. And Raj, within that information, they need to actually provide their full name, their date of birth, their nationality, their previous visa reference number, and details as to why they can't go back to their home country. So, for example, if the border had been closed, or because they're in self-isolation, because that record will be kept on their system. Mm-hmm. And so the Home Office have said that they will respond back within 5 days. I would not hold my breath because, like I said, they're inundated. But they've said they should respond back within 5 days, and then they should respond back to say that the visa has been extended.
It is a bit of a hard situation right now, because obviously if the Home Office doesn't get back to you, what is the best option for them then?
So in circumstances like this, and I say this to all of my clients, that we should always be proactive as well. So we should make sure that we keep a note of the times that we've contacted the Home Office. We try to keep a screenshot, or if we've contacted them by telephone, we keep a date, a time, and a name of the individual, because we need to have that proof as well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if we don't hear back within 5 days, my suggestion would be to actually email them again, mm-hmm. and keep a screenshot to show that evidence and that information has been passed over. Because even though that they've said that they're dedicated and will ensure that the information is passed back to the applicant, there've been a number of cases in the past when we've not had the information that we require. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we're sort of proactive as well in circumstances like this.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot more sense as well. Mm. I've got a bit of an example. So if I want to switch visa status, normally I would have to apply outside the UK. Can I apply in the UK instead right now?
So, for example, if you were in the UK on a visa and you had to leave the UK in order to apply, for example, settlement, to come back into the country as a spouse mm-hmm. of a British citizen, and I use that as an example, you would need to leave the UK. That is one of the requirements in order to apply for entry clearance to come back into the UK again as a spouse. And then you'd be on the 5-year route to the 5-year settlement route. But in these circumstances that we're currently facing, and the uncertainty that surrounds it, the Home Office have clearly stated that they're allowing for applicants to apply in country to switch into long-term UK visas until the 31st of May. Now, we need to ensure that these applications are correct, as in the correct application form. They fulfil all the requirements, and the applicants actually have to pay the correct UK application fee as well. Right. So if they're able to apply in country, I would suggest that we should say on the application form and put representations forward to say we would normally be leaving the UK to make this application, but in the circumstances we can't, and we're asking you to consider this in country. Mm-hmm. Again, the applications have to be done online, and the individual's terms of their leave will remain the same until the application has been decided.
Right.
So one point to note again on that is because UK visas, citizen application centres are closed, and also the service centres in the UK, there will be a delay again. So they won't be able to go and hand in their documents or have their biometrics taken, but they can at least lodge the applications online.
So once the application is basically lodged, it kind of just gives a proof that you are doing something about it, and it's not really that you are stateless.
Well, yeah, that's the point. They're basically saying that, you can lodge the applications. We want as many applications to be lodged in time, if you can lodge them in time. And also, we understand that because the service centres are booked because of coronavirus, when the service centres are open again and we're able to ensure that you can attend the service centres, we will then be able to process the application further. And they've clearly stated that they note that applications won't be jeopardised if the biometrics haven't been provided.
Okay.
But just for your information, Raj, today I had received confirmation from a client whereby we had done the application form. They had an appointment booked, but because of the pandemic, they couldn't actually attend the appointment.
Right.
And I received an email from the Home Office saying that they have done checks on the application and giving us, like an updated guidance as to what documents, they had received and that everything was fine.
Okay.
So that's some sort of reassurance that actually the Home Office are checking through these documents accordingly.
Yeah. Okay. That actually gives a bit of reassurance for everybody applying as well right now. If my visa is about to expire soon and I need to submit a Home Office application, before I submit my Home Office application, I have to pass an English language test. But obviously all the test centres are closed at the moment. So what do I do?
So I've said that I think it's important that we do submit applications where we meet all the requirements. But we should be able to explain that the test centres obviously are closed, and we will try to get the test done as soon as it's open. If there are concerns about lodging an application before you've actually done the test, whether you're going to pass the test or not, I would always refer you back to the Coronavirus Immigration Team email address and say to them, well, this is an issue that we're going to face. What do you suggest we do at the moment? Because this is information I can give you now. The guidance from the Home Office has been updated literally on a daily basis.
Yeah. So
I had information from them on the 24th of March and then on the 9th of April and again yesterday and today. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important, to try to get in as much information as we can to the Home Office, especially when we meet all the requirements.
Yeah. Indefinite leave to remain. If I have a long-term UK visa, which leads to indefinite leave to remain, I might be stuck outside the UK for several months. So will this affect the application, or is that not effective at the moment?
So with indefinite leave to remain, there is guidance to say that you can only be outside the UK for a certain period of time. And also, if the individual is outside for an extended period of time, the best situation that we would find ourselves in, or the best circumstance that we could do, is to actually explain to the Home Office that these are the reasons that they had to leave the UK or they weren't able to come back into the UK. And by explaining that to them, they should be able to exercise discretion in the circumstances. So at this point, we haven't got any guidance to say they will definitely grant it or will they grant an extension or further leave. But they have said that they will understand each case on its own merits and they will take each case on a case-by-case basis. So the advice would be to explain the reasons for any absences and also to email the coronavirus email address, because that is important that information has been logged with the Home Office.
Right. Okay. You've touched upon the next question a bit briefly, but are the UK's overseas visa application centres open?
No, currently they're all closed. They've all been suspended globally until further notice. So the issue is that for anybody who has got appointments or had appointments there, they will normally have them rescheduled or they'll get a refund back on the cost of that appointment. But if people or applicants are concerned about the visas and their passports, they can contact the Coronavirus Immigration Team, who will be able to assist them further in relation to that. So they're all suspended abroad at the moment, yeah.
And that kind of links on to my next question as well. So are domestic UK v CAS application centres open?
Yeah, so again, all visa application centres within the UK are closed as of the 27th of March. And again, the services have been suspended. Mm-hmm. And on their guidance, it clearly states this is to help them protect the health and well-being of their customers and their staff. Mm-hmm. It's under review at the moment with UKVI as the situation evolves. But like I've clearly stated, that those with appointments can either have them automatically rescheduled or they can obtain a refund. Mm-hmm. So if people have got appointments, they generally, don't need to do anything. But I would always say they should try to log back into the online portal to see whether the appointments have been amended or rescheduled, because they don't necessarily receive an email. They haven't recently received an email to confirm that change has occurred.
Okay.
So it's best that they're sort of proactive and going back into the system and just double checking, has the appointment been changed? Because now they know that the centres are closed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so if my visa is expiring and I can't get an appointment, what is the best option for me? Because obviously I won't be able to actually go in to get an appointment and get my documents checked.
Right. So I think we've touched on this as well briefly, that it's probably in the best interest to lodge an application where you are able to get all the requirements satisfied, but also be patient and note that the Home Office are fully aware that we can't get an appointment booked with them. If you can upload all the documents onto the website, we should get that done. And also in a covering letter that can be prepared, put the details down, explain why, you've lodged it at this time, that it has been lodged within time, you've not overstayed the term of your visa, you've met all the requirements, and as soon as they're able to get the appointment booked in, then we should go back into the online website and try to book it. Again, we have to be proactive because we need to make sure we're going and we're checking when the appointments are available.
Yeah. And
also checking with the Home Office to see when they are actually opening the offices and the appointments are going to be available again.
Mm-hmm. And you probably suggest the best option is probably to obviously stay proactive and send them emails or get in touch with them personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. Clearly, I've said that if you're unsure, the best thing to do is to send the email to the coronavirus help email address. And also, the Home Office has said not to worry if we can't book appointments or if the appointment's been rescheduled, because they're fully aware that it's affecting all customers. And, like I said, I think it's best that we keep records or screenshots and dates, etc., for ourselves, and then we can show the Home Office that we're fully supportive, and as soon as they're able to issue the appointment, we can get one.
Right. So moving on, impacts on visa applications, the ones that are currently already submitted. What is the guidance that we've received regarding all the visa applications?
So visa applications that have been submitted in country?
Yes.
So if we've got visa applications that have been submitted in country and if we're just waiting for the appointment, then again, we just have to wait for that appointment. But if we've been issued a visa and we cannot travel, what happens then? What happens to the validity of that? Now, we should email the coronavirus immigration team and explain the position and say, why can't we travel, with the details for that, and await the response back from them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they will be able to offer another date.
Right.
But also, if you physically can't travel, there's nothing that we can do at the moment. They're going to have to reschedule it and reissue the visa. So
like you've said, I've actually got a question based on that. It's what if I've been issued a visa, but I cannot travel during the time it's actually valid?
So I've actually had a very similar situation, and I contacted the Home Office and explained the position, and they said, well, the best port of call is to contact the coronavirus immigration team and explain the circumstances to them, provide them with all the details in relation to the visa, the term of the visa, the date of the visa grant, and explain to them that, obviously due to travel restrictions, we're unable to travel, and it's been advised to me that they will update the system and they should be issuing visas periodically when they get back to normality, and they should get another visa issued in due course.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a bit of an uncertainty. Now, some people are saying that the UK border is closed. Some people are saying that it's not. What is it actually closed at the moment? Can we actually travel outside, or can people actually travel into the country?
So the Foreign and Commonwealth Office advised British people travelling abroad to return to the UK if flights are still available. So the point is that I don't believe it's closed at the moment, but if you're abroad and you need to travel into the country, you can try to get a flight to come into the country. Some of them will be commercial. I believe there's some charter flights out there as well. But the advice is for all UK nationals against any non-essential travel at the moment. So flights are limited at the moment. There's limited travel that can be done or should be done. But in terms of the answer to that question, not at the moment, but there is current updates that we should be keeping an eye out from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office that will advise us on a daily basis as to what the position is.
So people stuck outside, like outside the UK, they can actually return to the UK at the moment because the UK borders are not closed. Is that what you're saying right now?
Yeah, so the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, it was only a couple of days ago, that advised British people travelling who had travelled abroad to return back to the UK if flights are still available. So there were some commercial flights, there were some chartered flights that had been put on to get these people back into the country again.
Yes.
So from that information, until they've made a decision as to whether they're going to close borders or not, that's the information we have at the moment.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. Family migration. So if I'm due to renew my visa and my sponsor or I have lost our jobs, how can we meet the financial requirements of the rules?
So financial requirements are so broad within immigration applications. It's noted that on some immigration applications you have to meet the threshold of 18,600, so for example for spousal applications. But there is no clear guidance at the moment that's actually been tried and tested. But we have consideration of the family policy guidance, which states that there are certain recourse to public fund issues that have been apparent, and also whether individuals can claim grants or secure some assistance through government schemes. Mm-hmm. Now, if they can't, or if they're unable to actually secure any financial assistance, we should ask the Home Office to exercise discretion in certain circumstances, but it also depends on which application we're lodging.
Yep.
So even though migrants, some of them have a condition on their visa, which clearly states they have no recourse to public funds, because it's always been the case that individuals or migrants who are coming into the UK or who have visas in the UK are actually financially independent and not actually a burden on the state. But the government, during this uncertain time that we're currently facing, have made provisions to allow employers to retain employees due to COVID-19. Mm-hmm. You've heard about the furlough process as well.
Yes.
And employers can apply for support from the government to assist. And also, employees whose leave in the UK subject to conditions that have no recourse to public funds may still be able to secure assistance, subject to meeting all requirements, that is, through a number of benefits, so statutory sick pay, contributory-based employment and support allowance, support provided by employers through the coronavirus job retention scheme, and some other work-related benefits. So the point is that the government are doing as much as they can to assist individuals who are facing difficulties such as financial burdens because of what's going on at the moment. There is also a number of other schemes. So I've touched on the coronavirus job retention scheme, but also the coronavirus self-employment income support scheme to help those in work. Mm-hmm. So migrants, for example, who are registered self-employed and have made tax returns in the past few years may be able to apply for a grant through the self-employed income support scheme or in accessing other support. So these schemes have been established in order for individuals who are not supposed to have recourse to public funds, but to assist them and to ensure that they've actually got some support that they need. But one thing I would say to you is that each case should be considered on a case-to-case basis, because if they don't meet certain requirements, there may be other options that are available to them. Mm-hmm. So they may have to look at other options, longer periods of time, different routes, different application forms. It's an ever-changing situation, and we need to keep a close eye on the guidance from the Home Office during these times.
That's very helpful. Of course, like partners and relationships, people that are applying on the basis of their partner, if they are not able to actually live together at the moment, what is the best way for them to show their relationship proof?
So different applications require different proofs of relationship. So, for example, if you're applying as And on the partner route, you can say that you've been living together for 2 years. But if you're not able to demonstrate that, then that's going to cause a problem with the Home Office. If you're applying on a spousal route and you've got marriage, but actually one partner is, say, for example, in India and the other partner's here in the UK, we would have to go back to the old ways of demonstrating that we're in a genuine subsisting relationship.
Yes.
And that would be telephone calls. Nowadays we have WhatsApp calls and Zoom calls. It may be that they need to revert back to sending emails and letters, photographs to each other, because that clearly demonstrates that their relationship is still genuine subsisting, and that's what the Home Office needs to see.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Home Office will be a little bit more understanding. If the couple can't live together, as long as it's explained in an application, I think it's important to support an applicant and give them that understanding and reassurance that, well, actually, I'm sure the Home Office will be able to understand that you've not actually been able to live in the same house as that person because of this situation.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest problems right now, also in the UK, but like abroad as well, but specifically in the UK, because I have some of my couple of friends that are going through this. They are due to marry their fiance, but cannot get an appointment for obviously the marriage appointment. So what is the best way? Or they've actually booked appointments and they've been rescheduled or something. So what happens with them?
So again, that's another area that's affected by coronavirus in the UK at the moment. Registry office, registering births, registering deaths, registering marriages, and it's very difficult because the offices are closed. But what we can do is we can just show how proactive we're being by trying to arrange an appointment and calling them if we're able to call them, sending emails, asking when the next available appointment will be ready, and when we could actually get in to go and see the registrar in terms of a situation like this.
Right.
It's very, very difficult because we have no clear guidance on it. They can't just lodge an application, because if they're trying to show that they're in a genuine existing relationship with their spouse, they have to obviously be married.
Yeah.
And the most important thing with that is to ensure that we've got the certificate there to show it, because that's the evidence that the Home Office will require.
Yes.
If we don't have that, then obviously we're falling short of the actual requirement that is required at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very difficult position that anyone can be in. I mean, I've had a very close family member who's had to get married with literally two people there because they couldn't continue with a big, lavish Indian wedding
Yes.
because of the circumstances. And they've just had to, luckily it was before the full lockdown, but they were able to continue with their marriage accordingly. But it's affecting everybody worldwide. And I think we just have to try to ensure that with our own cases and our applicants' cases and our clients' cases, that we're giving them the correct support and advice that they need at this time. Yeah. Because it's very unclear what's going to happen. And it's changing on a daily basis.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of uncertainties, like revolving around the whole immigration and the whole law perspective of it as well. Just to finish off, what are lawyers doing? So solicitors and lawyers, how are they still operating? Are you still operating? Are you still working as normal?
Mm-hmm. So, yes, I mean, as a Cartwright King, we're still working. We're having to work remotely. Now, initially, for immigration practitioners, where we would have to collect full bundles of documents, that would seem quite difficult. Mm-hmm. But we've been able to adapt at Cartwright King really well, because we have full facilities, everything's being scanned on, and we have a full package that we can work with. We're able to do Zoom meetings, and actually it has been a lot easier than we actually anticipated. Yes. But yeah, we're still working, and we're finding that there are lots and lots of inquiries that are coming through with people who are so uncertain, because everything is changing, like I said, on literally an hourly basis. But we're still trying to ensure that we're there to support our clients and ensure that we're there to give them as much information and updated information as possible.
Yeah.
So the conversation I had with you today may change tomorrow.
Definitely. I think everything's changing like on a daily basis. But the more information we can give, I think the better it is. Anything you want to say before I let you go?
Just to say thank you, firstly, for giving me an opportunity to come and speak with you. To the end of this, I just want to explain that we need to ensure that the UK guidance is checked as soon as possible when we're lodging any of these applications, because it is an ever-changing situation. The Home Office have said that they're going to keep the situation under review, but we should make sure that we are aware of and knowledgeable to any changes, because if we need to act efficiently and proactively with all the cases, then we're able to do so. I think it's important for people out there to know that, we as solicitors and many of the solicitors firms are here to help during this difficult period of time.
Thank you so much, Rita. It's been a very interesting conversation, and I hope I can grab you for another chat some other point, but for some other topics that we probably haven't touched upon today. But thank you so much, Rita, for taking some time out.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your time as well.
All right,
Bye-bye.
You take care. Bye.